We'll kick off with Wales and Gareth Bale, who had some interesting things to say about whether or not he was going to stay on loan at Spurs.
I think the main reason I obviously came to Spurs this year was obviously I wanted to play football first and foremost, but going into Euros I wanted to be match fit. So yeah, the original plan was only to do a season at Spurs, and then yeah, after the Euros I still have a year left at Real Madrid, and yeah, as far my plan obviously is to go back, and yeah, that's as far as I've planned, to be honest.
Overall, it's what you'd expect him to say, obviously. The deal was only 1 year. What struck me in that is that I came to Spurs to improve my match fitness, as if there's some sort of, I don't know, posh gym.
Well, I think what he means is he came to Spurs to get game time every week with the Euros upcoming, rather than be at Real Madrid and definitely not play. Now, we didn't know he was going to go to Spurs and almost never play. Maybe he didn't. The whole thing's just weird. I don't know who to blame here, whether it's... I honestly don't know. Is it him? Is it the manager? Is it both? Is it his attitude? All we know is he's filling up his pension. I mean, he's got another year at Real Madrid.
Yes. Yeah.
Another year.
600,000 a week.
Somebody's given him the contract. He's won a watch in that sense, not in a football parlance, but in a lifestyle parlance. He'll go back, he'll play golf. If Zidane's at the football club, which might or might not be, he's definitely not going to play. I'm just surprised how the whole Tottenham thing has worked out so badly for one so talented. I just can't put my head around it.
Shaka, what do you reckon? What do you make of the turn of phrase here? Because Bale could have put this a lot better, couldn't he?
Yeah, but in all honesty, it's no less than you expected. I mean, so often we talk about players, you know, who may be out of the picture at one club looking for an opportunity. Jesse Lingard to get themselves back into international contention.
This is a so-called club legend who could have quite easily said, I was excited to go back and Spurs return to where I had so much success. I'm looking forward to continue that till the end of the season and see if we can qualify for the Champions League. Instead of saying, you know, I kind of went back to get match fit ahead of Wales, which is really all I care about.
Yeah, listen, I think that is a big takeaway. Two things. Gareth Bale would have been more than happy to just sit out the last 2 years in Madrid picking up his money, but for the Euros coming up, where he's always worn that Wales shirt with such pride, and I felt, particularly the last couple of years, has probably saved his best footballing performances for Wales. So you know what that means to him, and the opportunity to go back to Spurs kind of fed into that, and that's the only takeaway. Happy to pick up his money. Wales is important. Spurs is just a kind of a stepping stone, which again we kind of knew.
Jan, how would you feel if you're in that Spurs locker room hearing that?
I would find that he is an idiot. And it was the same when he was at Real Madrid. I mean, he won so many trophies there. Could be one of the legends, scoring in finals. And then he just sits with his stupid hat and just looks like he doesn't care at all. And I think it's a disrespect to Real Madrid, is a disrespect to Tottenham, saying that you're coming back to go into the gym. I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, who is giving this man advice? It's strategically terrible. Like you said, you could have said, it's so great to be back. Without Tottenham, what I achieved at Tottenham will never have the chance at Real Madrid, winning the Champions League, coming back as a Wales legend, taking them to Championship, and so on and so on. And instead, he does the total opposite. And he's obviously kind of interviews that just bores me. And I can't believe that, in disrespect to all Tottenham fans, that at this time can't even get into the stadium, and he talks about Tottenham like that is like a fitness gym. I think it's ridiculous.
But just quickly before you go to Jules, I think there's a couple of things here. Either he's not the brightest, or he just plain doesn't care. And I say that because, for the reasons that, you know, Jan just mentioned there, somebody who is either caring or is bright enough to answer the question would say, listen, it hasn't worked out, but the reason I came here was I got a lot of time for Tottenham from my time here. I want to help the club push forward. I want to help Mourinho. I want to get my career back on track, and I'm going to get playing time. If we can fit all those in, then maybe Tottenham could have had a successful season. That's not difficult as somebody who's, you know,
He's been around a long time.
Well, I was going to say, like, we've all done. I used to say to guys, and you know, when I was doing the media at Chelsea and Celtic, and at Celtic it was every day. We used to have reporters come in, and I used to say to the guys, look, ask me what you like. I'm not telling you what to ask. Ask me what you like, because I'll find a way to answer it.
Sure.
Right. And there's easy ways to find a way to answer the most simple question. And that was the way, do you know, so it's either he just thinks, I don't care what they think, or he hasn't got the mindset he can answer it properly. I'm kind of thinking it's the former, not the latter, to be honest.
Jules, how is Mourinho going to react to this?
I think Mourinho knew exactly what was happening with Bale. He knew that Bale came, like a lot of players do, when it's a year of a Euros or a World Cup, and they know in the club they're not going to play. They go on loan, or they get a permanent move somewhere where they would get game time and be ready for that Euros or that World Cup. And I think Mourinho knew exactly. Otherwise, Spurs would have put a buyout clause at the end of the loan, or they would have tried to maybe structure the deal differently. It was a straight one team, like a lot of players get, and I think they knew that, and Mourinho knew that. Maybe that's why Mourinho didn't really play much at the beginning, and Bale had to convince him to play a bit more. And recently we've seen that he's been scoring and playing more, albeit a bit inconsistently, but still in terms of performances, but still being there in that team and being quite important. I just think he was honest tonight. That was always the deal. He wanted to play. He wanted to go somewhere where he would play quite a lot to be ready for the Euros with Wales. And I just thought he was honest, very clumsy, but in a very honest way.
Yeah, and he was
clumsy. Yeah, sorry, it's clumsy, but it's not difficult to not be clumsy to try and give some people a bit of hope, you know, supporters. But you know, I'll go back to I think it was there's been a lot going on recently, but I think it was the Arsenal game for Spurs recently. I was watching him. And he got taken off. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. Yeah. But I was watching him, and we talk about body language stuff. I was just watching his reaction, playing on that right side, I think he was. I think it might have been Doherty behind him, whatever it was. But they might as well have been playing with 10 men. Now, you can play badly. You cannot have the overhead kicks from Champions League finals and all the great goals this guy scored. That can happen. But it's not too much to ask for you to go and close down and show some pace and some desire and some energy and drive about your performance. If the manager doesn't like it, he takes you off. Okay, I've went out. But he was literally, I mean, it was just above a walk, right, but not much. I was watching him and I was just thinking, absolutely, and this is a North London derby, absolutely zero interest he had in that game. When they took him off, he couldn't wait to go and sit up and get his top on and have a drink. Couldn't wait.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.